Got it. You have started, no, live stream? Yeah. Now share the live stream with the chat box. Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty has joined.
Yeah, I have joined,
Dr.
sir.
Murgaish, you have joined. And any other person have joined?
No,
Yeah.
I think we are waiting for two forest officers to join.
Yeah, actually, Professor Sinari Kairipetian chairperson, he joined but could not connect with the audio, so he left it. And now I will introduce you Professor Luciane Gaglioni, Sao Paulo State University from Sao Paulo, and another part of the world, the South Hemisphere.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you.
He's the moderator of today, Professor Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty. He is a renowned environmental activist and professor of management.
Oh, very nice.
It is different field of the people, not everyone like you and me in the physiology. Yeah. There are different branches.
Okay. It's good to discuss another subjects.
Yes. And we in the UNESCO platform, we always enjoy the multicultural, multidiscipline, multiracial, multilingual, and multi-religion people to make it they have a heterogeneous compound.
Yeah.
You just sent me by WhatsApp. I will do some work, that is sending the YouTube link to all the respective places. So that is important for the other people who will not be joining with the Zoom.
Okay.
Sir, unmute yourself, please. Kushal, sir, unmute yourself.
Dr. Murgaish? Yeah. Just to see that if any name is known to you, please allow it into Zoom.
Oh.
Any name, because one name is uncommon to me. But
yeah, I have added, yes. Kishan is joining.
Kishan. So that's the reason I thought to call you. Yeah. And I have shared the, I shared.
And even Asha Patil madam joined.
Madam joined just now, I admitted. And you can also admit now. And I just shared the YouTube link to Dr. Luciane. Dr. Luciane, I have shared the YouTube link to your WhatsApp. Just check it. And Murgaish, I have also sent to you by WhatsApp.
Yes, I'll check and I'll try to make it.
YouTube link I have sent it.
Yes, 2 minutes.
Luciane, I have shared the YouTube link to your WhatsApp. Just check it. And Murgaish, I have also sent to you by WhatsApp.
I'll check and
yes, it's working.
YouTube link I have
Sir, Ramesh sir joined.
Who joined?
Ramesh sir joined.
Dr. Ramesh joined. No, yeah. So one chief guest has joined. Dr. Ramesh, Dr. M. Ramesh sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon. So welcome our first chief guest. Actually, first chief guest has joined, but he unable to get the connectivity, the UNESCO chair. He joined, could not connect through the sound, the mic.
Yes, sir.
So now, anyway, you are here and he'll be joining, I'm sure. And Dr. Professor Hamid Mubashiri.
Sir, Mujibashri sir joined.
Professor Mubashiri, sir. Professor Hamid Mubashiri.
Sir is trying to connect audio, sir.
Acha, setting audio. Okay, right.
I think Kishan has joined. Kishan, are you there?
Yes, yes. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Yeah, fine.
Madam, good evening, madam. Joined?
Yes.
Good evening, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. Very nice to see you here, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir. All because of you. Very honored, a privilege of mine.
No. But I hope that all my guests, some guests, Professor Mubashiri has joined, Professor Luciane from Brazil has joined, and
Yes.
Professor Sineri, UNESCO chair, joined, but unfortunately he could not connect the mic. So again, he went off.
Okay, we'll wait for a few seconds.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I think that we should wait, and other guest, Professor Mubashiri.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, fine. Professor Mubashiri, you are hearing me?
Yes, do you hear me?
You are audible. You are audible.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, because
How are you? Everything is okay?
everything is fine. Everything is fine at your end.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And Professor Muhammad called me and told me that he is very ill and he actually unable to get up from the bed. I told you, don't
Right.
worry, you take care of your health. I have requested UNESCO UNITWIN head from Iran, Dr. Muhammad Mubashiri, to join. So he will be taking care.
Right.
So
Thank you very much for all your reports. I'm sorry I am in a hospital to get a CNGO of myself.
Okay.
There is something wrong with my heart, but it's okay. I will attend the session between the experiments and the diagnosis of my heart.
Okay. Oh God. Take care. Take care. You
Thank you
are
very much.
really a medical scientist.
Thank you very much.
I think we have some guests here. They are very enjoying here.
Right. Thank you very much. If you want to see how is the hospitals in Iran look like, I just show you.
Yeah, I want to see.
part of it.
Yeah. We all want to see the Iran hospitals and all. Let you show it to us. You are here nicely. And
Right,
I
yeah.
think COVID protocol.
But the
has
weather
been-
is very good. And the only problem is the Omicron.
Omicron, yes. I think it is your medical school, your medical school hospital, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Tehran University Hospital, right? Teaching hospital.
Yeah, it's the main hospital for hearts,
Oh,
and
it's
it
a heart
does have
hospital.
all sorts of facilities. There are
Right.
some private one as well, but I
Oh,
tried to
wonderful.
choose this one. They might learn something out of my heart.
Nothing. You will be absolutely all right because you are our asset in Iran for the UNESCO. So, thank you. And we have a lot of important guests here today. And I'm just waiting. He has also joined. Our today's moderator is there. He has joined. And I will start another 2 minutes, 58 now. Professor Gustavo has. Professor Gustavo, I think that he is just wish me good morning. I have to tell him join now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, join now. And Sineri, Professor Sineri, unfortunately unable to. He joined, but again he has
Right.
left.
Professor Das, I just
It's
like
okay,
to
yeah, there is no problem.
Yes.
Professor, I'd just like to introduce you to one of my SPPA directors and
Yes,
a close
please.
friend of mine, Kishan. I think Kishan is here, and so Kishan, he's actually the Guinness World Record holder for the world's youngest
Oh,
film
God.
director. So he's the world's youngest film director, and he's also now he's now an entrepreneur and one of the directors of a medical technology company called MediMagic, which basically
Oh.
makes 3D 3D classes for medical students. So I'd like to introduce you to Kishan.
Oh,
He's
very
been
good. I think very young bird. Very young.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody, thank you so much, Dhruv, for that wonderful introduction. I'm very happy and delighted to be associated with Dhruv, such a young, talented individual who has started something very noble at a very young age. And I wish him nothing but all the best. And I'm here with all my support and, trying to help him out and also to be a part of this great cause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kishan. We are very happy to be introduced with you. And you are also a wonderful person. And you are a Guinness Book World Record holder. So it's amazing. So
Thank
I
you,
wish
sir.
you all the best. And on behalf of the UNESCO UNITWIN network, I wish you all the best in your all future endeavor.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so
you
much.
be with us and let us listen the child, the genius. And now he's a young teenager.
Yes.
The Dhruv, how he speaks and how he gives us knowledge. And thank you very much, Indrani. Indrani, please unmute.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very glad to join all of you from Istanbul, from a rainy and
Yes.
cold day from Istanbul.
Yes, yeah. Indrani Kalkan is an associate professor of nutrition and dietetics and healthcare under Faculty of Medicine in Istanbul University. Welcome, Indrani, and I'm waiting for Suleiman just to give a message. Irina has joined.
I will just give him a message.
Just a message to Suleiman that Irina
joined, sir.
Irina joined. Irina, Suleiman Dazdok also joined. Yeah.
Okay.
All my guests are almost ready, except that first year. Dr. Sharina Sikkalkar, another guest of honor, is also here. Madam, you are welcome here with us. I'm Dr. Kushal Das. Director of Environmental Health, UNESCO UNITWIN Network.
Yeah,
And
I'm also glad to meet all of you, sir. And I'm from the Forest Department of Bijapur.
yes.
So I would like to congratulate everyone, and also I would show my gratitude that I am also part of this seminar. To everyone.
Yes, I welcome two most dignified person. One, my good old friend Suleiman Dazdak from Istanbul University, professor of biophysics, and from Istanbul, Dr. Suleiman. Indrani Kalkan is already here with us, and Irina Mihalkovich. And
Nice
Hamid
to
is
meet
already-
you. Thank you for your good organization. And I am happy to see all of you.
Oh,
And
nice to see you after a long time because
the
of
good,
COVID.
Good topic. Will be good listening for me. And
Fantastic. Thank you very much for
I have
your encouragement. Thank you, Professor Suleiman. And here is Irina Mihalkovich from Minsk, Belarus.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, she is a renowned Indian classical dancer. She is a Mohiniyattam dancer, but she is also actually from the country of a ballet dance. And she landed.
Yeah. Yes, surprisingly, yes. I'm more drawn towards Indian culture than my own. Thank you so much, Dr. Kushal, for offering to join this beautiful event and to see so many wonderful guests attending. And of course, the topic is very interesting for me personally as well. So yes, I'll be very happy to attend it.
Yes, thank you very much. And we are very happy that Professor Hamid is. I'm waiting for Dr. Gustavo from La Paz. Joined? Oh, yeah. Professor Gustavo. Professor Gustavo. Professor Gustavo.
Sir, Gustavo joined, sir. Joined.
Joined, no? But I think he's muted.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Good morning.
My apology.
Good morning.
Technology always plays special tricks on us.
And
I am all the time in
yes.
But today it asked me all kinds of questions.
And
so nice to see you, my dear Professor Kushal.
No, we are all with you. We are very happy to see you here. And We are really enjoying you, and I think your good friend, Dr. Mubashiri, is there. He's in the hospital, actually, the Tehran Heart Hospital. And, yeah, and Professor Luciane has already joined. Professor Luciane, and I had a nice chat with
Hi, Gustavo. How are you?
Luciane, so beautiful to see you again. Wonderful. I'm so delighted you are joining this group. This is an extraordinary group. It is a very high intellect, but above all, it is a great humanity and love for nature group.
Yes, it's a great pleasure. Thank you for the invitation also.
No, we are very much honored. And I'm on behalf of the UNESCO UNITWIN network on UNESCO, and the UNESCO Chair Life Sciences. I really, and the Department of Environment Health, which I am heading, I'm really grateful to all the great speaker, great participant, guest of honors, and a very young speaker here. The most important part here that the speaker is only 19 years old, and we, specifically person like me or Cyneric or Professor Hamid, we are all in the higher age group. So it's a wonderful combinations with the young mind, with connecting with the old folks in the domain of knowledge and understanding. And I
am in the young group.
We agree. You are in the
I am with Dhruv Patil.
Thank you so much, Professor. I mean, it's indeed an honor for me as a student to be a part of such a distinguished and honorable group of professors. So I mean, it's indeed an honor for me. So thank you so much.
I think without delay, let us
already impressed me so much.
Yeah, I think that we will start now. Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready. Shall I start?
I think that we have to start now. And in my welcome and introduction, I will introduce everybody.
Okay.
Please go ahead. He is Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty. He is a very renowned environmental activist, a great crusader for environment, and one of the person who has changed, support to change the ecosystem of this district, this village and district and the city itself, where some of you have visited. So you know that he is a crusader, and beside that, he did his PhD from NITE, Mumbai, that is one of the technical university, National Institute of Technology and Engineering, and he did his PhD in management. So he's a professor of management also. So it is a unique combination of every sphere of the life here, including the arts, literature, dance, culture, to all the aspects of including physiologists and just physician like Dr. Gustavo, all are here. So he is Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty. I introduce you. He is the moderator of today's program. So he will do everything today. Over to Murgaish Patan Shetty. Dr. Patan Shetty.
Thank you very much, sir. Big words for me. I think I'm pleased by your words. Let me begin with today's event, a virtual distinguished lecture on the topic Uniting Cameron Conservation. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening all present here. I'm Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty, an environmental activist and a professor in management. Would like to take this opportunity to moderate this virtual and distinguished lecture on the topic Uniting Cameron Conservation. Now, without wasting us time, I'd like to invite Professor Kushal Das sir to give a welcome address and introduce the dignitaries of this function. Over to Professor Kushal Das sir. Kushal Das sir, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from different parts of the globes. And we are extremely honored today to have one of the young prodigy who is Dhruv Patil. He is only 19 years old. He will be properly introduced by Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty. To me, I have interacted with him in different aspects. He is an outstanding person, specifically photographer, naturalist, environmental crusader, but he is a student of management in New York University. He has come India for holidays and he'll be going back. So I decided that on the platform of the UNESCO to make the many people around the globe to have a proper, appropriate platform to see and listen him, and really be honored to be listening him. I think his presentation will be amazing, but I believe that he's too young, too early. So I think all of you must encourage him in all the aspects and bless him for his great future. So here is Dhruv Patil, who is in front of us. So he'll be presenting later. I really honored to have two of our chief guests. First chief guest, Dr. Sinorik Iripetian, he has actually joined, and unfortunately he could not able to connect the sound, so he left and he could not again rejoin. But our second chief guest, Dr. A.M. Ramesh, because this program is hosted by UNESCO Chairholder Life Sciences and Department of Environmental Health, which I am heading. And this program is endorsed by Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka. Its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. A.M. Ramesh, a renowned forest expert, forest science expert, and a PhD degree holder and great scientist in forest science. He is with us here to best. So, Dr. Ramesh, Dr. A.M. Ramesh.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much to be with us. And I'd like to welcome today's guest of honor, of which first I like to mention Professor Hamid Mobashiri, who is my long-standing friend in UNESCO and a great biophysicist, professor of biophysics at University of Tehran, Institute of Physics and Biochemistry and Biophysics there. And I think Professor Sinorik has joined. Just to see that Professor Sinorik has joined, just see his sound. So he is Dr. Ramesh is here, and Dr. Hamid Mobashiri is here. Professor Mobashiri is a renowned biophysics. His work and expertization in the biophysics, specifically membrane biophysics, electromagnetisms, and his great work during Corona is immensely contributed. I think he should be remembered, all of us, and he's a great friend of my university where I work. And well-wisher and a great supporter in the UNESCO, and is champion of the UNESCO from the Iran. So he represents Iran UNESCO. And next I invite, so thank you, Professor Hamid Mobashiri. Thank you, Professor Mobashiri. Yeah, I have to welcome the chief guest first, Professor Sinorik Iripetian. Professor Sinorik Iripetian.
I'm here.
Yeah, we are so nice and great. And your all friends are here, Suleiman, Dr. Gustavo, and Professor Hamid Mobashiri, all are here. So, and he is Professor Sinorik Iripetian, a renowned biophysicist, a cell membrane expert, signaling expert. His immense contribution in the society for promoting science, specifically during Corona period, he took a leading role for UNESCO to promote the biophysics as a main principal tool for functional norm of the Corona COVID virus. He has conducted, in which I was also one of the member and coordinator for that program. Professor Sinorik Iripetian, he did PhD, he did his postdoc from Kyiv, and he has a great training under Bernard Kaj of Nobel laureate in UCL London. He was a former student and he was associated with the New York University, where actually the speaker belonged to. So here is Professor Sinorik Iripetian, UNESCO Chairholder Life Sciences, a great person. So I welcome Professor Sinorik Iripetian to be with us. Professor Sinorik Iripetian, namaste to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to say hello, all my friends. I'm very glad to meet you. Unfortunately, not in Yerevan or in Delhi. So I hope that your activity will help us to meet each other very often.
Very soon,
Really discuss modern problem for us and activate our program, biophysics, biotechnology, and environmental health control, which is very important. Not only developing countries, for all world also, and especially now when we have a problem with COVID, we must pay more attention on environmental health control.
Absolutely.
Of course, and discuss, I think that in next year, we will have possibility to discuss in international meeting biophysics approaches of public health, and maybe we will have possibility to meet with you in Yerevan.
Thank you.
So,
thank you. We are definitely going to meet soon.
Hello, all of you. It's very nice to meet you again. And thank you for organizing this meeting, Professor Kusal.
Yeah, under your chairship. Yes. Yeah, but we are having interesting that the speaker is the youngest among all of us, a 19-year-old boy. And we are all, specifically you, me, or Professor Hamid, Gustavo, we are in the higher age group. So that's okay. And now I welcome Professor Suleiman Dazdak. Professor Suleiman Dazdak from Istanbul University. One of the great stalwart biophysicists. And Professor Suleiman Dazdak is not only a biophysicist and UNESCO UNITWIN head from the Turkey, but he is a poet. He is an author of the book. So he has a multifaceted dimensions apart from his faculty positions and as a teacher and a professor of biophysics. He's a great scholar and a great support to Turkey from our UNESCO UNITWIN network to the Turkey. So he is an ambassador to the UNESCO UNITWIN from Turkey. Thank you very much, Professor Suleiman Dazdak. We are honored to have.
Thank you for all.
And now I like to introduce Gustavo Juvieta. I have no word to introduce Professor Gustavo. He is a visiting professor of BLD deemed to be university. That's what only I can say. Beside that, he is a director head of High Altitude Pulmonary Pathology Institute in La Paz, Bolivia. A great chest physician, pulmonologist by himself as a profession, and great academicians, great researcher. He's a high quality research. And his daughter Natalia, who is in University of Calgary. I think Professor Luciane also was from Calgary, former Calgary scholar. So, and Natalia came to my university, and she had a brief PhD training under my supervision in BLD University. So that's the reason Gustavo is a very special to us in BLD University concern. Though this program is not hosted by university, it is hosted by UNESCO UNITWIN network, supported and endorsed by Dr. A.M. Ramesh, Chief Executive Officer of Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, Government of Karnataka. Here is Professor Gustavo Juvieta, our good old friend. So welcome, Professor Gustavo. Namaste.
Namaste, my dear Kusal. It's absolutely splendid to be joined in this interesting and unique event, may I add. It's wonderful to see Professor Sinerik, Professor Suleiman, our dear friend Hamid Mobasheri, and Lucian, and all this group, because it is truly unique. And the uniqueness now is linking through Drew Patil's work.
Yes.
Our two continents of India, Asia, and South America, and America in a way, because what he's going to present is so unique and admiring, because there is no greater beauty than nature. Man pretends to play like God with genes, but nature, with all its time of evolution, has created the magnificent specimens of life that are truly the greatest treasure, beyond gold, beyond everything. And I still sustain that we may be the only living beings in the whole universe. So the wealth and the richness of this talk arises from that concept. Thank you very much, Professor Kushal Das,
Thank
for
you very much.
organizing
Thank you very much,
a
Professor.
wonderful event.
Yes, and I will now introduce almost like my daughter, Irina Mihalkovich. Irina, you are here, so I introduce Irina to everybody. Irina is a great scholar and dancer. She is a student of Kerala Kalamandalam deemed university, but she's from the Belarus, and in the Minsk, she stays in Minsk. Wonderful dancer, environmental activist she is, and she was our actually chief guest of our university last World Environmental Day. So outstanding Indian dancer, choreographer, actress, model. She is actually almost I should say the word heartthrob of many Indians as such. I think Dr. Indrani, you can understand that what I want to mean. So yes, here is the Miss Irina Mihalkovich, and her father is actually a neurosurgeon. So he has passed away, but she's a daughter of a doctor. So I have a special affinity towards her because she is a daughter of a doctor. So thank you, Irina, for your wonderful presence here. We are honored.
Thank you, Dr. Kushal. And you give such a generous introduction to me that I feel more than honored. I feel a little bit like even intimidated by this beautiful introduction that you gave me. Yes, I'm an artist, and I was honored to be part of Dr. Kushal's other initiatives. I gave lectures on connection of art and nature and how humans are linking themselves to the nature back through the art, because this separation, this gap that we created throughout the millennia, or not millennia, the hundreds of years of industrial development, it's actually, we can find the way back to this pristine childhood of ours, which is nature, through the art as well. And I think today's guest, Dhruv Patil, is one more exponent in the same field, right? He's finding this linkage, this divine linkage of us to the nature through the art of photography. And actually, it's very interesting. Just yesterday, I visited one photography exhibition in Minsk. Now there is a photography exhibition called Golden Turtle Festival, and it's also dedicated to nature preservation through photography. And such enthusiasts like Dhruv Patil, they were displayed from all over the world, their beautiful photographs, and how they find the microcosm in every, like they photograph a small frozen piece of water, and inside there are small insects, small leaves, and you see like galaxies inside of it. And to have this vision, I think if we all learn to adopt this vision of childlike curiosity to every bit of nature that we see around us, I think we will be one step closer to returning back to what is so natural to us and preserving it.
Wonderful, wonderful, Irina. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
Your good friend, Professor Hamid Mubashir, is also here. He's also
Hi.
here.
Yes, I know only Dr. Kushal and Professor Hamid Mubashir, but I'll be very happy to know all of you. Like very beautiful team today.
Yes.
Thank you.
So anyway, our Murgaish Patan Shetty is the moderator. He will do all the needful. And last of all, I like to introduce, not least, but the most important, that today we got one honorable guest who happens to be my subject, that is physiology. Great physiology professor, Luciane Helena Gaglioni. So Professor Luciane, Dr. Luciane.
Hi, Dr. Kushal. It's a pleasure to
Dr.
be
Luciane,
here.
yeah, please. She is the professor of physiology in State University, Sao Paulo. And she happened to be, I found, the student of my friend Benedito Machado of University of Sao Paulo, which I'm having more than 2-decade friendship. So it's a wonderful. Professor Luciane, please speak 1 minute about your own.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. It reminds me my undergraduation, because during my undergraduation, I was working with ecology in part of Brazil that are also different animals. So then I moved to physiology, but it's amazing, this area of research. So I'm here as a representative of a country that has a lot of biodiversity.
Yes.
And it's also amazing that a boy with 19 years is here.
Yes.
Yes, teaching us. So it's a very pleasure and an honor to be here. And I wish you the best, and also for Patil. And I'm very excited to hear to listen his lecture today. Thank you very much for your invitation,
Namaste. Namaste, Luciane.
Namaste.
And before I hand over the mic to Murgaish Patan to introduce the two special guests here, I like to introduce today the mother of the speaker today, Mrs. Asha M. Patil.
Namaste, everybody. Namaste, everyone.
Yes, Madam is one of the she is actually the mentor of Dhruv Patil, and she personally take all care of Dhruv while in the jungle, forest, environment, nature, or even in the New York to take along with the son. So all the type of times a real mother, and she should be really appreciated and saluted for wonderful mentee like her son. So we are proud of you, and we are eager to listen Dhruv Patil. Everybody from the different part of the world, they actually say this word. So thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for making this moment so special. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much. And my sister Indrani Kalkan from University and Tehran, no, from Istanbul University is also here. She's a nutritionist. She's an associate professor of nutrition and health, public health in Istanbul University. And I'm happy that two representatives of Istanbul are here with my great colleague, Suleiman Dazzak. So thank you very much, all of you. And I hand over the mic to Murgaish Patan to further carry over. Please, Dr. Murgaish Patan as a moderator, I'm thankful to you to give me a chance to introduce all the dignitaries, guests, and speakers. Thank you very much.
Professor Kushal, sir, wonderful introduction of all the dignitaries who have gathered here. And now, without wasting of time, I think I need to introduce another two, the guest of honor for today's function. One is Dr. Prashanth Pikayam. He is presently working as the Deputy Conservator of Forest, Territorial Forest Division, Vijaypur. He is one of the dynamic forest officer in Vijaypur district as of now, and he is a postgraduated in agriculture and holds a doctorate degree in wildlife management. I think today's topic is very apt for his doctoral thesis, and he has published more than 15 research articles in agricultural and wildlife and even forestry. Attended many national and international conferences and attended many trainings. And today when we see him, I think he is one of the best forest officers which we are seeing in Bijapur district, and very cooperative. And one more thing is not only cooperative, and he takes all entire forest department into his confidence. So with this brief introduction, I introduce Prashanth Pikayam sir to this August gathering. Prashanth sir, welcome to this August gathering. Can I have some few words from Prashanth sir in this August gathering? Prashanth sir, are you there? Okay, I think Prashanth sir is not able to connect audio here. So I'll try to introduce one more guest of honor for today's function. She is a lady forest officer. I think I have ever seen a lady forest officer in Vijaypur district. And her name is Sarina Sikaligar. And Madam is a Deputy Conservator of Forest for Social Forest Division. By qualification, she is a MS Geology, MD in Education, Diploma in Forestry, and she did his diploma in forest in Dehradun. Dehradun is one of the known as a very thick forest area, and we have very good, institutions in Dehradun. And she had done a training in various areas like wildlife conservation in India, not only in India, even in Thailand also. and she has worked in a forestation scheme at Mysore and forest land conservation in Dehradun. So these are various trainings she has done, and her objective of doing all these things is nothing but conserving of forests, increase green cover, especially dry land like Vijaypur. Sir, you know that Kushala sir known very well about the dry land of Vijaypur. So we have a very less forest coverage area, which will be dealt by Dhruv Patil in his presentation. I will not emphasize more on that. And Madam is into, she has got a very good habit of reading, gardening, painting, and teaching. And she has even won award also. I would like to mention one thing here. I think I should not forget the main person who is reason behind the entire forestation, Dr. N.B. Patil, who is the Chancellor and even the former Minister for Irrigation and District in charge Minister for Vijaypur District. I think he is the one person the idea has conceived in his mind. I can see after 5 years, there is a lot of green patch cover in Vijaypur District. So let us not forget the main, the reason behind this mega green coverage in this area. Absolutely. And even I would like to mention that after this Koti Vriksha Abhiyana, there are near about 8 different awards have come to forest departments. And not only right from a state chief minister award until district. I think Madam is also one of the Seva awardee from district administration Vijaypur. With this brief introduction, I introduce today's one more guest of honor, Srimati Irina Mihalkovich, Madam. Madam.
Namaste, Madam. Namaste.
Namaste, Madam.
Namaste to everyone. I'm very much glad to see everyone in the stage, and I would like to thank M.B. Patil sir, Asha Madam, and Dhruv, and also especially Murgaish, Patan, Shetty, and you all of you, so who made a part of this show, and I'm very much honored and very much pleasured. So here, Bijapur, it is more than 45 degrees centigrade temperature and 12 years of drought. So we forest officers, along with the Koti Vriksha Abhiyana, so we pledged that we make this Bijapur dryland as a green. So here we have done more than 5,000 acres of plantations outside the forest area, as there is no forest here. So now we can find the temperature has come down a little, and we can find a lot of rains also because of all these afforestation program taken up by both forest department and even also from the Koti Vriksha Abhiyana. So I would like to thankful all, and I am very much excited to listen from all of you, and also I'm very much honored, and also I like to invite you all to the Bijapur to see our work. So how our afforestation work has increased the microclimates, and also we can see increase in the wildlife, even from small micro to the major animals. Nowadays we used to dream the wild animals in the Bijapur, but now we can find leopards are coming, so there are wolves are coming, and all these things, and so many migratory birds are coming, and all this because of all the afforestation work carried out here. So, and also I'm the part of this session, so I would like to thank you all. So I don't want to speak myself, I want to listen to all of you, so I'm very much excited. So I'll thank you all, Kushal sir. So he has given nice introduction, and also I'm pleasure to see all the dignitaries here. So once again, namaste from my side also.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarina Madam. And I think now let us go to the main area of the session. I think this virtual guest lecture. Now, I think Dr. M. Jajar Jadeh is not able to connect properly. I think his audio is missing. So I request the chief guest of today's.
No, I think Dr. Najat Jadeh, he is having COVID. So
yes, sir.
He is unable to join. I think Dr. Muhammad Mubashiri can make the program.
Yes, sir. I request Professor Muhammad Mubashiri to be the chairperson of this today's event, and And I want him to...
Hamid Mubashir. Professor
Professor Hamid Mubashir, sir, to be the chairperson of this today's virtual guest lecture. And now I will try to introduce today's, I can say, the speaker of today's, I think, young, dynamic, and very sprouting photographer in this area, who is having a lot of idea in his mind. So we will try to, I'll try to take this time to introduce today's speaker, youngest speaker. I think Kushal sir was mentioning about him in a speech. He is just 19-year-old boy. Journey with the animals began at the age of 8. He started SPPA as a school club to rescue stray dogs around Bangalore and Vijaypur. And I'm very happy that I was a part of that also. And he saw the empathetic reaction of his peers in 3rd grade who were, stick to join the movement. I think there are so many people who have joined. Thus, broadening the horizons of SPPA every year. SPPA today, under Dhruv's leadership, has impacted over 60,000 animals. And SPPA has also assisted in one of the world's largest afforestation project called Koti Vriksha Abhiyana of Vijaypur district, planting 10 million trees in 5 years. And to tell you, sir, instead of making official, unofficially, I am very happy to share with you all that the kind of a patience of this boy, miserable. I'll tell you, he sat to take photos of flamingos and on the bank side of the river, morning 9 to evening circle of rock without taking food. So that is what the kind of a patience he has got. And I have seen running behind, so many animals and taking photographs of, waiting for the right moment and clicking the photo of that. So yes, I am now feel very proud. I am with one of the young wild photographer of India. So with this brief introduction, I introduce Dhruv M. Patil. And one more thing, he never ever tried to introduce himself as son of Dr. M.B. Patil. I think he is on his own way to make his own identity in the field of wild forest photography and forest conservation. With this brief introduction, I introduce to this August gathering Dhruv M. Patil. Dhruv.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Patan Shetty. I thank you so much, Chief Guests Irina and Professor Irina and Mr. E.M. It's an honor to have you guys here. And it was wonderful hearing from all the professors and dignitaries, Professor Lucia and Professor Gustavo, Miss Irina, and thank you so much, Kushal sir. I mean, Professor Kushal is the sole reason that I have the opportunity here as a 19-year-old in front of all you dignitaries who are seniors and experts, professors in fields who have done, decades worth of research and have decades of expertise in your respective fields. And I'd like to, mention, what my mentor, Mr. Shaz Jung. So he's one of India's pioneer in photography. He also filmed the Black Panther of India. So Shaz Jung, I think what he said to me is, nature finds, unique ways to connect with people. And I think that I think is the sole reason why I'm connecting with all of you dignitaries today, all the honorable members. So I'm humbled to be presenting in front of everyone who's here today, and for all the students and all the youth and all the people who are going to watch this through YouTube, through social media in the future. I'm humbled to be presenting in front of all of you. So I'm just going to share my screen, so that there's some visual to what I'm speaking.
Dhruv, one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is one more legendary person. He joined this function. I think it's Dr. Chandrasekhar Biradar. I think live from Egypt.
Welcome, Dr. Chandrasekhar. Nice to see
Namaste,
you.
sir. I think.
Wonderful.
Namaste, sir. Namaste very much.
The person who has added essence to the Koti Vriksha Abhiyana by his own, talent. I think we have spent a very good time with Chandrasekhar Biradar, sir. and very renowned professor in the field of the environment. I think I need to hear some 1 or 2 minutes of words from Chandrika sir, please.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, Dhruv already started and I wanted to stop in between. He's sorry to interfere in between. Excuse me for that. Thanks, Dhruv, for this wonderful initiative taken up as a young boy and initiating the wonderful initiative, especially bringing connecting the photography and nature. So always we and Dr. Das is talking about that, how this the picture tells 1,000 words without the barrier. Right, something I want to convey to the world, and picture is the one of the best, and photography is the one thing that connects to the nature and the society. And that's why I always tell the picture tell 1,000 words, and without the language barriers. All the best and wonderful. I'm glad that so you are taking the next leap of what your dad is done for the world. Especially the dry areas of the world in Bijapur, so that you are taking that leap into the next level. All the best. So good luck. So I'll stop here because of you already started and not want to interfere. So you'll be in touch with later. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chandrasekhar sir. Now I think it's time to Dhruv.
Thank you, Professor Parajani. And no, Mr. Vidal, no, Professor Vidal, you don't need to apologize. It's wonderful hearing from all the people who are here today. Thank you so much. And I think without further ado, I'd like to, share the screen so that, there is the visual cues and you can see what I'm going to be talking about. And I guess the name of the presentation that we're doing today, uniting camera and conservation, it kind of summarizes, in an alliteration, with camera and conservation, that it summarizes what this event is about, what my talk is going to be about. Because, people see photography and conservation, it's often, they're two different parallels that usually are not met. So I've met photographers all through my life, and and I've met tourists who come to Kabini, who come to Ranthambore, who go to Masai Mara, who go to the Serengeti in Africa. But it's rare for the tourists to actually interact further than taking pictures. How many tourists that come into these places actually care about the conservation and protection of these animals? So, I just want to build the connect, draw the two parallels and where they intersect, and how photography and conservation, I think as Miss Irina as well said, how this form of art can connect with conservation and, help people understand the connect that art photography has to nature and its conservation. So, I think everything has a story and how everything started. So for me, it was when I was 10 years old. So this was me in the backwaters of Kabini. So I was 10 years old in 2013, and it was my first trip to Kabini. Kabini or Nagarole is a forest in Karnataka. I'll be talking in detail about it in the next few slides. So I went to Kabini when I was 10, and I was always restricted to Bangalore. So Bangalore back then, when I rescued my first dog, and I guess, the credits definitely go to my grandparents and my parents, who always had dogs at home. I think the first interaction that I remember was with dogs. So, the dogs at home, the way I was taught that they were my siblings and, they're part of my family, that was what made me, fall in love with animals. And that's how it all began. And I was restricted to Bangalore. So I rescued my first dog. And I thought, why don't I start a school club? Because the first dog I rescued had a plastic pot stuck to its neck. And it was hard for an 8-year-old to see all the blood dripping from the dog's neck, because, the pot was almost piercing through its neck. Almost for 9 hours on the way to school and on the way back, I'd seen that there was nobody to help it. So all the capable adults had probably chosen to ignore the dog. And, as someone who had grown up with dogs at home, I had pain. As an 8-year-old, I went back home and I said, we need to do something about this. So that's how SPPA began. It started as a school club in 3rd grade. So me and these are my friends back in 3rd grade, Shreyas Kuchibotla and Gautam Dayal. So with them, I said, we all like birds, we all like animals. Why don't we actually do something to conserve and to protect these animals? So it started as a school club. We went around Bangalore. We started rescuing dogs. We started rescuing crows and miners and the scarce domestic wildlife that Bangalore used to offer. And going back to, 2 years later, it was my first trip to Kabini. Being restricted to an urban environment, I was in love with birds and animals already, but Kabini was like paradise because, imagine liking birds, imagine liking 4 or 5 species of birds and then being introduced to hundreds of species of birds. So Kabini unlocked this, this scenic paradise where, we'd go for safari 6 hours a day and it was complete bliss. You'd see all types of birds, all types of animals that you've probably never seen before in your life. So that's how my passion for Kabini and for animals began. So here are some of our rescues. I think from Ellie, the horse that we rescued 2 years ago in Bijapur. So Ellie is our most recent rescue. And here you can see another scarce rescues. We had a squirrel, we have dogs. So till date, we've rescued over 60 animals and, we've rehabilitated them in our own homes. And I'd like to thank the entire SPPA committee who's been, the volunteers in the committee who's persistent and, who actually care for the environment. And the passion that I see in people and how we can influence people, I think that's what makes the difference. So just a little bit of story about Ellie. So Ellie was a horse, probably she was owned by some shepherds and she probably got injured by the cart that horses are made to follow. So if you can see the picture below, she has a scar on a hind limb, and we from SPPA, we got a truck that day. We took her in the truck. We got a veterinarian in Bijapur who could dress her every day, every week. And almost a year later, that's the improvement. She was able to walk and she was much healthier than she was before. So that's just the story of one animal, and we've done, we've helped countless others in similar ways. Another aspect of SPPA, so when I was, I think when I was 13, I adopted animals in the Mysore Zoo. So the Mysore Zoo is one of India's largest zoos with the most diverse species in India. So, it was interesting because it was, I think, my second or third visit to the zoo. And this time I was lucky to visit the veterinary department of the zoo. And it was the first time me seeing, leopard cubs and elephant calves. And it was incredible to see all these, creatures at such a young age, because when I was in the forest, I've never been introduced to animals that are young, and we never interact with them at a close range. And I think that different perspective that the zoo brought and how they were rehabilitating these motherless leopards that had, lost territory, or elephant orphans. So I had an idea in my school. So I said, I was crazy passionate about art back then. So I used to love doing origami. And origami is a Japanese art of folding paper. So I used to do origami products. And one show and tell in our school, we had this show and tell event where we have exhibits for parents who come in from all different grades, from all different classes. And I sold origami craft to these parents and students. And that was like the first fundraiser I hosted by myself and along with my peers at school. And we put that money into adopting these animals. So I adopted 5 animals, and from 2013 till date, I have kept readopting these animals, and it's incredible. So it's I think this is one place where I learned that animals have personality, and that personality builds when you give a name. So if you always see a dog that you have, or a cat that you have, or a bird that you have as a pet at your home, you start off by giving it a name. And when you give it a name, you build an emotional attachment with it, as though it's your family, as though it's a member you're talking to. You don't call it a dog or a cat anymore. You call it by its name. Like that, it was the first time I'd experienced that in wildlife. So The leopard that you see here, his name was Chintu. He was, I think, approximately 4 months old when he was rescued by the zoo. And there was another elephant calf that you can see in the article here. So that her name was Chamundi, and it was incredible that, you know, we started. I could, at the age of barely 13 or 14, I could start seeing personalities that these animals presented. So, and it was incredible for me because I started calling them by the names and I had the incredible opportunity to interact with them. SPPA, you know, went dormant for almost 6 years. So we only rescued animals and we adopted these animals in the zoo every year, but we never really had any breakthrough events, or we didn't do anything big. And it was, I think, our 10th anniversary in 2019. And I was speaking to Professor Patan, Shetty, and I was speaking to my media team who was there. And I was like, we need to do something big with SPPA. An issue that had been looming around in my mind, but, you know, as a 16-year-old, there's not much you can think of that adults can allow. So, you know, still a 19-year-old, you know, being in front of you dignitaries who have so much knowledge, I still feel inferior. And it was the same feeling I had back then when I was 16, that what can I as a 16-year-old do that can impact, you know, lives of other humans? Because with animals, they're wordless. You can go help them and you know that, you know, that they're doing well. And, you know, there's not much of an interaction. But when you're dealing with, you know, humans and trying to influence different people, it's a whole different, you know, arena. And so for me, I said, you know, in India, the rural students have very limited access to technology and social media. I, as a 16-year-old who was born in a city, who was raised in an urban environment with smartphones and computers, I knew what climate change was. I knew what global warming was. I knew the basics of wildlife conservation, and I knew that concepts like these existed. But thinking about all the rural students of India who never had access to social media, how would they possibly hear about concepts like global warming and climate change? I mean, it's one of my lifelong goals that the Indian education system implements, you know, climate change and global warming into the syllabus of young students. But students had no access to read about stuff like climate change or global warming. So my instant idea was, why don't we gather students from these government schools, from these rural villages? Why don't we gather all these students, you know, give them t-shirts, give them lunch for a day, give them food. And, you know, I choreographed a play where our own BLE institution students performed a play so that these students understand the concept of global warming, climate change, urbanization, and wildlife conservation. An interesting anecdote that I'd like to bring within, that I'll be explaining at the end of the presentation, is how, you know, I think having dignitaries from Iran here, you guys have the greater flamingos is, you know, scattered through parts of Iran. And greater flamingos are known to migrate from Iran or even from Rann of Kutch, which is in Gujarat, the complete north of India. They're known to migrate for almost 900 kilometers every night. And it was incredible, you know, growing up in Bijapur to see flamingos for the first time ever in Bijapur. And I spoke to a few farmers who were, you know, when we had gone to see these flamingos, and I asked them, you know, what are these reflectors? So farmers place these reflector strips so that these flamingos can, you know, they see the reflectors and they get blinded by it. And the farmers initially thought that these flamingos are going to destroy the crops. But, you know, only with education do they know that flamingos don't eat crops. They're not going to destroy your crops. They're primarily, you know, shallow water birds that eat shrimp and fish. So in this program with 4,000 rural students who are possibly future agriculturists and farmers of India, I wanted to explain to them that, you know, what flamingos are, why are they so rare, why are they endangered animals, and why you should not, you know, put reflectors or try to, you know, avoid these flamingos and try to harm them, because they're incredible species that migrate from almost, that's 3,000 kilometers or 1,500 miles. And they come to such a place like Bijapur, and if, you know, Bijapur, the water bodies in Bijapur had access, it would become a tourist destination immediately that automatically starts, you know, a different stream of revenue for these students and farmers. So we try to explain to them that, you know, flamingos are incredible species, and we show them videos, and I'll be doing the same. I'll be explaining to you guys, showing you guys the videos at the end of the presentation. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So a unique thing, you know, now that SPPA in 2019, we relaunched, we conducted the event with students, I had a different philosophy for SPPA. So if all of you have been a part of some organization or some NGO that protects animals or rescues animals, a lot of the NGOs usually ask for donations, or they say, you know, you as a volunteer can, you know, help us save this animal, or, you know, like a post on social media and we'll save a bird or we'll feed a dog. My philosophy with SPPA was, you know, if we're capable, me as a capable student, as a 19-year-old, as an 18-year-old, and all my dignitaries like Professor Patan, Shetty, Kishan, and my friends like Bhuvan and Shreyas, I was like, when we are capable students who can, you know, spare an extra meal at home for these animals, or, you know, who can spend the pocket money that we'd spend for, you know, let's say buying, you know, food outside in a restaurant or buying the smallest commodities, if we have the pocket money, if we have the resources ourselves, we do not need to, you know, make it an obligation that somebody else has to create the impact. So with SPPA, what my philosophy was, if we're capable, we can do it. We want to influence students. We want to influence the current generation and the next generations that, you know, you guys should care about the planet. We'd like to influence, but it's not, but we don't want to make it an obligation. We don't want you guys to, we didn't want the next generation of students, you know, we don't want to say that only if you guys rescue the animals, or if only you guys donate to SPPA that we'll rescue these animals. Because these animals do not live by donations, or, you know, every minute that an animal is injured can, you know, make or break its life. So my thing with SPPA was, we make all the impact and then we spread the impact and try to influence others to join us. But again, it's not an obligation. So along with that, we conducted few events in schools that were interested in hosting SPPA. So we did an event called Bowls for Birds for almost 3 years. This was all pre-COVID, of course. So where, you know, so as I think Miss Irina Mihalkovich ma'am said, that summers in Bijapur, I think some parts of Iran as well, you guys can experience high temperatures and drought during summer, where temperatures can go up to 45 degrees Celsius. And it was the same in Bijapur. And, you know, I just talked about flamingos, but, you know, there were almost 175 different species of birds that you can see in Bijapur. And what are they going to do in this summer where it's incredibly hot? They need shelter, they need water, they need food. So we got almost, I think over the 3 years, we had over 1,000 students create over 500 bird feeders. And we asked them, you know, we didn't take the bird feeders and say, okay, we'll hang it. We said, because, you know, thinking of it, every student comes to a school or a college from different parts of the city or different parts of the state. And so what I told them was, go back to your area and find a couple of trees and place the bird feeder there, so the birds in your area have some access to water and shelter. So this happened for about 3 years, and we had about 400 bird feeders. And one of the most unique, and I think one of the largest animal-related campaigns that SPPA and like I've ever led, and I think this is the pride of SPPA and how it's different to other NGOs. I think, again, with Professor Patan Shetty, I thank him for it. And people in and around India know about this phenomenon now that, so if you think about stray animals, which are abundant in India, they always depended on these hotel discards, restaurant discards, these scarcely populated fruit vendors' carts, and who drop fruits or vegetables every day. These stray dogs and cattle would depend on those discards. But during the pandemic, if you guys think, when all the restaurants were shut, when every hotel was shut during the first wave of COVID, what happened to these stray dogs? If you can see the picture in the middle, that was the first day when we went to feed these stray dogs, and you could see how malnourished these animals were. So I thought, with SPPA, we need to adapt. In COVID, what might these animals face? And that was the first thing that came up to me. How do these stray animals have access to food? So me and along with members in SPPA from 12 cities, I think 10 in India and Abu Dhabi and Dubai, we have members there. I think Mr. Hidayat, I don't know if he's on call with us or if he's watching us on YouTube. We fed all these stray animals across India and across the UAE. And, it was incredible because, we took meals from canteens, and with over 800 kgs of rice and bananas for monkeys in Mysore, and bananas for the cattle, and, rice and eggs for the dogs, stray dogs. We went around 12 cities for almost 3 months, and we fed over 6,000 stray animals in India. And I think this is one of the biggest achievements, the biggest campaigns SPPA has ever hosted. And I think it was in time, it was the perfect time where these animals were in need. So that was the Feed the Strays program. And now, we've been talking so much about Bijapur or Vijayapur, or, where Mr. Kushal Das, me, or Mr. Patan Shetty are sitting right now. The city of Vijayapur, everybody's been talking about it, but for those of you who haven't visited our city yet, so just a brief about it. So in the picture, you can see Gol Gumbaz, and Gol Gumbaz, although less heard, because everybody might have heard about Taj Mahal, the seventh wonder of the one of the 7 wonders of the world. Gol Gumbaz is actually bigger than Taj Mahal. And if you guys know the Vatican City, St. Basilica's Church in Vatican City, the Union Territory in Italy. So if you guys know about St. Basilica's Church, that is, I think, the largest single stone dome in the world. And Gol Gumbaz, a UN heritage site in Bijapur, is the second largest single stone dome in the entire world. I think Gol Gumbaz, this is what Bijapur is known for. It's a rich history and monuments, where rulers from Persia came to Bijapur, rule this district, and the incredible monuments that we have here. But there was a darker side to Bijapur. Let me take you back 5 years down the timeline. So let's say 2015, this was Bijapur, an area of completely dry land, and no trees, no water. It was dry land, stones, dried grass, and no wonder temperatures here would reach 45 degrees Celsius. Bijapur, though not a district with a desert or anything close, we could see that it was being compared to cities in Rajasthan. Or, you can compare it to temperatures even in the Sahara. Sahara would be extreme 55s and 60s, but 45 is also Saharan temperatures. So people would compare Bijapur to like deserts across the world, and it would just be, it's incredible because it's still a city that we have here. So with that, I think, it was my father's ideology to create, along with the forest department, to create, to provide water in this land and to create an ecosystem with by planting trees, and how that automatically creates an impact. Everything in life, from my journey from my first trip to Kabini to, where I am today. And like that, everything's a cycle, everything creates an effect, everything has an impact. And how planting, 1 crore or 10 million trees can create such a big impact on the environment and ecosystem of this district. So with the forest department's help, with over 100 block plantations, and as Miss Serena Sikalgar said, we had a forest cover of just 0.17%. And with the project Koti Vriksha Abhiyan, which in 5 years we planted 10 million or 1 crore trees, one of the largest deforestation projects that has been successful in the world, we increased the forest cover by almost 2 times, from 0.17% to 0.23%. So if you can see the difference, the vast contrast that you have between this picture and these, where you can see this entire land next to a lake has been converted into a plantation. And not today, not tomorrow, but 5 years down the line, it's a new ecosystem that we're creating. It's a new forest that's created. It's a new habitat for birds. It's a new habitat for wild animals. It's a new habitat for reptiles like snakes. It's a whole ecosystem that is created by planting these trees. And I think 5 years down the line, the temperature, which is already visible in Bijapur, where the temperatures are already dropping, drastically. But 5 years or 10 years down the line, you can really see Bijapur that had, a reputation as a drought prone, as a hot district, as a hot city. In the future, it's going to be known as, a city of greenery, or a city that has plenty of forests and, though man-made, though not natural, it's still going to be incredible to see these, to see the ecosystem that's going to develop. And how SPPA was related to this, all props to the Forest Department and the Vriksha Abhiyan Pratishthan team. But how SPPA was related to this was, of course, we helped in the plantation of the saplings, but also getting the word out that, a campaign as large as this is being conducted in a city like this, which has never been heard of. We wanted to get the word out there to the people of the world saying, we are doing a 10 million tree plantation, 1 crore trees. It's not a small number, with almost a 97% success rate. So, we planted these trees, and SPPA created a documentary, which is soon to release. So we made a documentary with SPPA that showed the journey of Bijapur, before Koti Vriksha Abhiyan, after Koti Vriksha Abhiyan, and its purpose. So that was SPPA's role in this, magnificent and huge project that, I'm proud to say that we've completed in 2020. So these are the photos that are part of the documentary that is going to come out. And a big part of SPPA is also our mentors and influencers who've been able to get the word out to the vast public. You can see a great Indian actor, Sonu Sood, and an Indian actor, Mr. Puneet Rajkumar, the late Mr. Puneet Rajkumar as well, who was a huge mentor for SPPA. I think Puneet uncle was the greatest mentor that we've had, who was so interested, with no incentive about protecting the environment. So and there you can see my mentor Shaz Jung, along with Kishan and another actress Samyukta Harnar, who have all been a part of SPPA and getting the word out to the next generation that SPPA exists. You can join us, you can create an impact on the planet. So I think, as influencers, as professors who have, who have the influence over countless students and, the next generation, I think as a student, I myself feel the great responsibility to take care of this one single planet that we have. Maybe Elon Musk is going to send a rocket to Mars, and then we're going to probably have a colony on Mars. But, it's still a probable future, and, it's a fail safe, but we have one planet that we can live on. I think it's our responsibility as a student, as the future generation, and to take care of this one planet that we have, to take care of the ecosystem and the environment. And I think that's the one main goal that SPPA has, is to save the environment from whatever it's been facing, from industrialization, urbanization, climate change, from whatever scale, be it small or planting 10 million trees, to create the right impact that can help the environment. So SPPA, we are talking, I think, as our chief guest, Professor Irina Pikayam said, that, how we have to adapt to the modern world and, discuss modern problems. I think SPPA, because, I was here till 2021, but now I stay in New York, away from India, away from where SPPA's headquarters is. So we thought, the future is all about going online and technology. So our vision for 2022 was, why don't we create a calendar where every month we have a different theme? So glad to say that yesterday we ended January's theme called Veganuary, where SPPA promoted vegan food, vegan dishes, and I went vegan for almost 2 weeks, and I shared my vegan recipes, and over I think 40 people shared their vegan recipes and dishes, and we promoted this whole theme of going vegan, and how the SPPA members themselves practiced it. So like that, we have a 12-month theme. This month's theme is feeding stray animals. The next month's theme is to build bird feeders. So we thought of going online and then making sure that anybody who wants to be involved can be involved, as well as, me in New York, I can make a bird feeder all the way from New York, place it outside my building there, place it outside my dorm there. And all the students across the world who follow SPPA on social media, who follow SPPA's website can, now build a bird feeder, feed a stray animal because we're asking them to. But again, it's about Team SPPA, Professor Patan, Shetty, Kishan, and us who will go out every day, who will feed these stray animals regardless of what others do or don't. But it is a kind request. You guys can follow SPPA on social media, where we're going to be running all our campaigns for the next 2-3 years. And, you guys can be a part of it. And again, if you have that empathy towards the environment, if you feel that you can make a small difference or a large difference, either by, one extra meal that you have a day, if you're cooking for 4 people, cook for 5 people, that one extra dish that you make can be given to these stray animals, or if you're buying rice or grains, to make your usual meals, you can keep a few grains in a cup outside your window so that birds can have access to food. So, from making a small difference to a large difference, you can join us, and we'd love to, have you part of SPPA's family. We're all part of one big family. Again, the goal is unison. We all have one goal, that is to, conserve wildlife, to conserve animals, and to protect the environment. I think it's all of us through our different fields are all united through that one goal. So this is where I'd like to introduce the other parallel. This is the famous Black Panther of India. This is Saya, as my mentor has named him. Saya, which means shadow. So it's incredible. I'll be talking more about the Black Panther as well. So this was in December 2020, along with running SPPA, along with doing all these campaigns. Whenever I had a vacation, it had to be Kabini. It had to be Kabini. So I went to Kabini every vacation, spent almost a week trying to find the Black Panther, trying to film different animals. And, it's all about photography and how I could, narrate the story to the world of what my eyes and my lens sees, how I could narrate to the rest of the world, to all of you, how I could show that what is photography and what do I intend by, showing these animals. And I think as Professor Biradar said, that picture speaks 1,000 words. No matter where you're from in the world, no matter the language barrier, no matter who you are, if you see an image, then you automatically know. You can see a story behind it. You can see the animals, and this is from Africa. When I went there in 2017, this is from Masai Mara, and you can see the large number of tourists that come to see the great migration of wildebeests that migrate all the way from Serengeti, which is in Tanzania, to Masai Mara in Kenya, and they go back to Serengeti. So I've been extremely fortunate to witness such natural phenomenons that occur with animals, and it's incredible to see the behavior. So how do I define photography? As a photographer who's been doing it since the age of 10, I'm still learning. I'm still a student. I keep learning every day. My mentor Shaz, I think he's played a huge influence to what I believe is photography. But, there are different types of photography, and really the person you are defines what photography is to you. I'm a wildlife photographer. For me, photography is explaining stories of animals, to share my experiences and my stories in the wild, to share the pictures that I see through my lens, and to, share my perspective with the world and how they can connect with the wild and be a part of this incredible, journey as a wildlife photographer and being amidst these incredible animals. But if let's say you're a wedding photographer who photographs events or weddings, photography is a whole different definition to you. How would you like to create an impact? But I think one thing all us photographers should think about is, how is our photography or our talent of photography or what we're doing as work, how can it, further be seen as, how can it further make a socio-economic or socio-environmental impact? How are we making an impact on the larger world by taking by doing photography and by sharing our pictures with the world? Because seeing a picture is, from social media like Instagram and Facebook, everything is so pictorially based and so graphically based that, everybody connects with a picture or a video. And how can we create that next step, the further impact with photography? So I think that's how I define photography. It can be different for anybody else, but it's about creating an impact through your perspective. So in terms of equipment, yes, I think the biggest barrier for the photographer community is the how expensive photography equipment is. So I remember when I was 10 years old, I had no idea about photography. It was my first trip to Kabini, and I had a point and shoot Nikon P600, and it had an incredible zoom. I think it went almost like 100 times or 120 times. And, seeing animals that in the wild, seeing a leopard or a tiger or even a bird up close where you can see every feather, I think that's also what made me fall in love, the incredible detail that you don't see in your day-to-day life. But when you go to these jungles and you spend time with nature, the incredible behavior and details that you see along with your lens, it's just incredible. So since then, I've come a long way. I mean, I'm still part of Nikon India. Nikon India featured my Black Panther article and my pictures of the Black Panther. And I'm still a part of Nikon. So, equipment, having the right lens, having the zoom lens, and having, the right camera and the right technique to click pictures. I think, with photography, again, right, as I said, you create your own definition, and as different photographers have different styles. I'll be showing you my pictures in the next few slides, and you can see that my photography is very different from others. Some people like it vibrant, but I like to create, a fictional connect with photography. When people say you edit, right, a big part of the equipment is also the software that you edit it on. Many people like to keep it natural, and I completely admire them, where you don't edit the pictures at all, and it's all natural so that, you show the natural environment. But people usually go against editing. When I'm on Instagram or when people see my website, they ask me, why do you color correct the pictures? Why do you edit them? Why do you make it look, either more beautiful or bring a different vibe with your pictures, right? And I believe that when you create this fictional connect with photographs, I'll show you the pictures. And when you create this different vibe, when you create, something that you can relate with, like, let's say a darker image makes it more appealing to the eye. And when you see the eye of the leopard or a tiger stare right into the camera, that's brighter than the entire, the background, I think you can really connect with particular, phenotypical features of these animals. And it's incredible because, you can see the leopard here, that's on my camera that I shot in Kabini. And it's incredible when you see the eyes and the spots up close. And I'll be showing you more pictures where you can literally see every fur of a leopard or a tiger, the stripes. It's incredible to see these creatures and, photograph them and show your perspective. It's all about your perspective and what you want to share with the world. So a little bit about Kabini. So I've been speaking about Kabini, and you guys might be like, what's Kabini? He's been saying it like 300 times and nobody knows what Kabini is. So Kabini is a forest in South India, especially in the southern part of Karnataka. It's located approximately 200 kilometers from the state's capital, Bangalore. Kabini has a rough area about 872 kilometers square. There are two zones. There's A zone and B zone. And I'll be speaking more about the zones, and I'll be talking about the panther. And there are 9 resorts, luxury resorts, government-owned resorts. And, you know, there are 2 safaris every day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Morning, I think 6:30 to 9:30 is the first safari. And then you have the afternoon safari, which is from 3:30 to 6:30 in the evening. So what's unique about Kabini is a forest that is open during all seasons. Many people talk about Ranthambore, many people talk about, you know, different forests across India. And Kabini it's open during all seasons. During monsoons, Ranthambore is closed because, you know, they renovate and the roads are usually wet, and, you know, it's dangerous to go into the forest during the monsoon because the jeeps can often slip out of the track. But Kabini is incredible during all seasons. It's one of the only few forests in India that is open during all 3 seasons, which is summer, winter, and monsoon, as we have in India. So it's incredible, and each season has its own specialty. In summer, you can see tigers in the open because, you know, you have a larger field of vision when the canopy is less, when the trees are dry. And in monsoons, it's a completely different field. For photographers, it's paradise, because imagine capturing beautiful animals like tigers and leopards in a green background, right? Like, that's the ultimate picture that you can create, that you can compose. So like that, Kabini is open during all seasons, and that's why it's one of the most popular forests. Here are a few photographs that I've taken. One of the most precious sightings that I've had, I think I value this more than the panther, because seeing 1-month-old tiger cubs in the wild, that too 3 of them with their mother for almost 20 minutes, I think this was one of the best sightings I've had in Kabini throughout my life, throughout the last 9 years. I think this is the best sighting I've had. So these are a few of the pictures that I've taken. A sloth bear, or if you guys have read Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book, this is Baloo. And I think once I show you all the pictures, I'll explain more about what analogy I want to bring in. So this is a leopard. So if you see, you know, how I'd like to bring the eyes out forward, how staring into the eye of a leopard can really bring that aura out of that animal, you know. So that's part of why, you know, it may not be as bright, but that little color correction that you can bring through editing, I think it really connects you with the picture. Staring into the eye, you know, you feel you're part of the environment, you feel one with the leopard, you feel like you can connect with the animal on the other side of the log. So that's what I'd like to bring with my photography. And these are called the Indian dhole, or the wild dogs of India. So another incredible predator. These are often predators to even tigers. You know, these dogs are always in packs, and though tiger is one of the strongest cats in the world, these dogs prey on tigers and leopards. And here's the national bird of India, peacock. And my apologies for the spots that you see. That's part of the Google Slides theme. I'm sorry for that, but you know, but you can see the picture on the whole, you know, pictures straight from the last few years that I've spent in the forest. And this is the langur. I think the key to spotting a black panther or a tiger or a leopard in Kabini is these. These animals and deer, they give you warning calls every time a predator is around. When they smell or they see a predator, they give warning calls. And that is how I saw the panther. That is how I've seen every big cat in Kabini. After a warning call, you know, we just wait in one place. If you hear a warning call, you wait there. And I promise you, if you hear a langur give a warning call, then you are going to see a cat that day coming out of the same location. So this is the langur, a type of primate found in India and in Kabini. And the magnum opus, or the animal of the forest, the black panther. So you can actually see the spots that he has on his body. So a black panther is not a different creature by itself. It's a leopard that is black in color because of a specific compound. I think, you know, with all the professors here who are, you know, who have incredible credibility in the environmental science field and with genetics and, you know, phenotypes, I think you guys know about melanism and how, you know, melanism is a compound that, you know, it's a pigment that occurs in these animals through the skin and hair that makes them look a different color. So that is why the Black Panther is nothing but a normal leopard. It's the leopard that you see back there and this. The Black Panther is nothing but a leopard that just has, excess of melanine compound. So it's called a melanistic leopard. So, that's why he is that famous. And so why is this Black Panther, why does he have that level of fame? Why does everybody around the world talk about the Black Panther of India? Because you might have seen Black Panthers in zoos, or there have been, I think, we have, professors here from Brazil, which is, close to the Amazon basin. And, there's always been, sightings or reported sightings of, melanistic jaguars in Brazil or melanistic leopards in Africa. And even in India, in different forests, there have been reported sightings of Black Panthers. But in Kabini, the sire, right, the only Black Panther in Kabini, he's the only wild black leopard that has been constantly documented and photographed since 2013. So if you guys have, I think you guys can check it out on National Geographic, my mentor's documentary called The Real Black Panther. And, it's a documentary about this panther's life. So this panther came in from a neighboring forest to Kabini called Wayanad, which is in Kerala, a different state. So he walked in from Kerala when he was, I think, 3 years old. He came into Kabini. He's now, I think, 10 years old. And, he's in his prime years, and in 3 or 4 years, I think that's the lifespan of leopards. So, they live for about 13 to 14 years. And, he's the only photographed wild Black Panther. And it's incredible because there's only one in the entire world. That makes him so unique, so different to all the other panthers where, you might see them or you might not. But if you come to Kabini and you spend the right amount of time, it is guaranteed that you can see this Black Panther. For me, it took about 5 years to first photograph him because it was a journey since 2015 to 2020 where I spent 5 years on this. So the panther's territory is in the A zone of Kabini, and his territory comes in a sort of a triangle or a square where it's 3 areas called Kaimara, then there's Barbale, and then there is Balle and Kevi, and then there is Bisalwadi here. So he's always part of this one box, and his territory is always around. He has, I think, 40% of his territories in the public safari area and 60% in the core areas where no tourists are allowed. So he's often out every 15 days, into the tourist area, and everybody sees the Black Panther for at least a couple of days if he's out. So, he comes out and marks his territory or, spends time with females during monsoons and winters. And, the winter is the best time to see the panther because it's peak mating season for these leopards, and they're usually out looking for partners, looking for females. And you might ask, why are there no more Black Panthers? This Black Panther his genes are recessive. And what I mean by that is his genes just make up 25%. So when he mates with the female's genes are, they're more powerful, they're more dominant. And every time he's had, I think, about 9 sets of different offsprings with different females. And all of them are normal leopards. None of them are melanistic. None of them are Black Panthers. And I think one hope that we have in the future is either if he, because of his recessive genes, which is, I think, let's say his gene is 50%, he mates with his own offspring, then that becomes 75%. So that when he has those genes that can, the more dominant genes, he can produce a Black Panther in the future. And, when, let's say if he hit two different offsprings of his, mate in the future, then there's a 50% chance of there being another Black Panther. But the future of Kabini definitely looks bright, where in the future we can expect to see multiple panthers in Kabini. And that's about the melanine compound that you've heard. So I think coming to the final part of my presentation, where, relating to the title, uniting photography and conservation, not only through SPPA, which is directly involved in conservation, but even through photography, how can you create this story or narrate a story to the world that connects photography and conservation? So here are some of the extracts that I've written, for my photographs, where, as I told you, right, creating a fictional connect, creating stories about fiction with these animals, giving them names, giving them characters. So if you see the leopard here, she's one of the panthers. She's mated with the panther a couple of times, and her name is Mist. And giving them these names and creating this unique character and persona of these animals, you can see that people can connect with the animal and connect with the personality. If I just showed you a picture of a leopard and said, here's a leopard from Kabini, India. Leopards are, there's so many number of leopards in the world, and please like my picture. That would not create any personal connect between you and the animal. But when I say, here you go, guys, these are animals from golden realms, the spots of gold of leopards. When you create these unique analogies, unique references, unique, ways to describe these animals and give them names, you connect with the personality. You'll be like, oh, that's not a leopard, that's Mist. And why is Mist so famous? Because she's, she consorts with the phantom. And here are just some extracts that I've written, a few examples from the vast collection that I have. Again, making that fictional connect to, and here is the tiger and the national animal of India. So if you can see, I like the darker edits where, you can really bring out this unique personality of the animal. And, these are all names. And again, I'm talking about a bird here called the Paradise Flycatcher, one of India's, most beautiful birds. I've had the opportunity of seeing two of them here in Bijapur, a land of drought, but now, we can see Paradise Flycatchers here. So, I made this poem about the flycatcher, that sings about paradise. And it creates that unique character where you can believe that, imagine a bird singing about paradise with its own voice, with its own character, with its own looks. Imagine the birds here singing about paradise. You can create, you get lost into the story. And I feel these stories is what can help conserve these animals. When people across the world, where all of you guys and whoever's watching this one day, when you guys see these pictures and when you guys read these stories, and when you guys connect with these animals saying, oh, there's Mist, or oh, there's Saya, the Black Panther, you want to know more about them. You want to conserve them. You want to, if anything, if in the future saying leopards are in danger, you can be like, oh, that leopard's like Mist. We cannot let that happen to Mist, a character of our life. A character that's so important in this large ecosystem, a personality of its own. You guys call me Dhruv, but I like to, when I go into Kabini or when I'm filming, when I'm holding my lens, I feel like Mowgli with the camera. I feel like the new age Mowgli. If you guys have read Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book, it's a vast analogy. It's a cliched analogy, but I'd like to, think of myself as Mowgli, because when I'm lost in Kabini, along a sloth bear, a black panther called Bagheera in Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book, a bear like Balu, and a tiger like Sher Khan, and when I see all these animals and I'm in the jungle, with a camera, and I'm still 19 years old, I'd like to see myself as Mowgli, who's just exploring the jungle, trying to talk with these animals, trying to bring these animals as voice and perspective, into the larger internet or the people of the world. So that's my entire ideology of photography and how explaining these stories can conserve these animals. So thank you so much for your time. I think I exceeded the time, but I mean, it's just so much to talk. I could go on and on forever. It's just how passionate I am. I thank Professor Das, I thank Professor Patan Shetty, and I thank the chief guests, Professor Irapatian and Professor Ramesh, and all the professors from around the world, all the dignitaries who are watching us, members of SPPA, members of the Forest Department, Prashanth sir, Irina ma'am, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'd like to just take 2 more minutes of your time to show you a video of what my next project is. So along with Prashanth sir, the district conservator of forest, I'm filming a documentary for the city of Bijapur. Bijapur is never, I told you guys that Bijapur is only known for its monuments and its dry land, and now we've created an ecosystem. But there is this incredible, fauna and avian diversity that's present here that I want to explain through a documentary that showcases the beauty of wildlife in Bijapur. Kabini and everywhere has so many documentaries on National Geographic and Discovery and BBC Earth, but Bijapur's wildlife has been understated, has been disregarded, and I want to change that. I want to show the beautiful species of Bijapur. So just a couple of clips of the flamingos that I was talking about that I've seen in Bijapur and the birds in my backyard that I've filmed. So if you can just bear with me for 2 minutes and I'll reshare my screen. Is my screen visible, Professor Das or Patan Shetty said? Okay, perfect.
It's visible.
Visible.
This was last week when I filmed flamingos here in Bijapur. So these are called sparring, where these flamingos, it's more like playing, where they play with each other in the water, cooling down near the shallow waters of Bijapur. I mean, it's incredible to see how we think that these birds could have come from Iran and, places where people are, currently attending this meeting from. So it's, here's another quick video. I'll skip to the best part. This is at sunset, where if you can see the flamingos' colors are brightest, the pink and the red is definitely seen. These are all raw footage, not edited, not color corrected, nothing, all for the documentary that I'm going to be creating in the next few years. So if you can see, it's incredible that we live amidst these beautiful species. And if we can narrate the story and tell the world that these species exist in such places, we can automatically, get the masses to think about conservation and, saving these animals. So this is the flight at sunset, where all the flamingos, they go back to join the larger group and rest for the night and sleep for the night. So this is one of the videos that I'm going to be using for the documentary. First time ever seen in public. So I had to get it ready for all of you guys who are going to be here today. So these are flamingos, and one last video of this is called an Oriental white-eye. So it's an incredible bird found in most parts of India, but it's a very fidgety bird and it's not easy to film. So I've been filming this outside my room. So the camera is not too wide, but outside my window here. So this is right outside my window for on a powder puff flower. These Oriental white-eyes, they drink the nectar, and filming them is just bliss. It's something that I wish to bring forth to the people of the world. The birds of Bijapur, the wildlife of Bijapur. So you can literally see every strand, again, thanks to the equipment, and you can see every strand that the bird is carrying, or the nectar that it's drinking, the unique behavior of them. And I feel this is what wildlife photography is about. It's about showing the animal's behavior and how its personality and character can relate to you as a person, as an individual sitting anywhere across the world, how it can connect to you. And I guess I take this grand opportunity to invite all the guests here to come down to Bangalore, to come down to Kabini. I can take you guys on safaris, hopefully see the Black Panther, but if not, at least tigers and leopards, I assure. And, you know, you guys should come down to Bangalore. I'll take you guys, you know, to the wildlife safari, and it would be my honor to take all of you guests, you know, to Kabini and show you what I've been doing all my life, and I hope to do for the rest of my life. So I again thank Professor Das, thank Professor Patan Shetty, and thank you all the dignitaries. Thank you, Professor Mubashiri. Thank you, Professor Dostag. Thank you, Professor Gustavo. Thank you, Professor Lucian. Thank you, the Forest Department of Vijayapur. Thank you, Mr. Ramesh, and thank you, Chief Guest Professor Irina. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. As I said, I'm just an 18-year-old amidst a crowd of experienced professionals in their industry. My knowledge stands nothing compared to the experience that all of you dignitaries have had along the years. So I'm still a student. I'm honored to be learning from you, professors, and I thank you all for this opportunity. And I think over to Professor Patan Shetty and Professor Das.
Thank you very much, group. Outstanding, Spain bounding. I think Professor Murgaish, Dr. Murgaish.
Sir.
Yeah. Please, you tell, and we hand over to the chairperson of the session, Professor Hamid Mubashiri. Whether he is here.
Hamid Mubashiri, sir, now should be, I think.
Yeah, Professor Hamid Mubashiri as a chairperson of the session.
Okay, nice presentation, Dhruv. Excellent. I think a lot of unseen photography we have seen today. Right. I think still I was expecting one more thing. I think we will try to have that video shooting in next kind of a session. Now, I would like to
think just 1 minute. I think Professor Lucian is asking that some question. Yes, all the guests will be allowed to interact for 1 minute to 1 minute, like that will be allowed to interact. Please,
yes, sir.
Please be here with us. It is Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty will call one by one by name.
Yes, sir. Let us now hear from the chairperson of this session, virtual guest lecture, I think, Professor Hamid Mubashiri, sir. So could you like to now have some words on this presentation? Over to Hamid Mubashiri, sir. I think sir is connected, but not able to.
You just see that next is Dr. Sinerik Adipatan is there.
Yeah.
Professor Sinerik, chairperson of the UNESCO shareholder.
Yeah, I think I request Professor Sinerik Adipatan, sir, chairperson Life Science UNESCO, to have some words on this presentation.
He is not there, I think. He's not. I think he difficulty he entered. He is there? No, he's not there. So you go to Dr. A.M. Ramesh.
A.M. Ramesh, I think. Ramesh, sir.
Professor Dr.
We
Ramesh,
would like to hear some.
Dr. A.M. Ramesh, chief guest, case chairman.
Good evening, sir. It was really a wonderful session by Dhruv Patil. Really excellent presentation. In fact, wildlife pictures were really very good. In fact, one picture is equal to 1,000 words, they say, and really it was very captivating. I must say, Dhruv Patil's talk was very interesting, inspiring, and insightful. I must say that he is an young role model to all youngsters. As we know, India has more than 50% of youngsters. He represents one of them, and he is a role model. And this particular talk assumes significance in the sense today is the World Wetland Day. Today is the World Wetland Day. February 2nd.
Yes, it's a World Wetland.
As World Wetland Day, many programs are being organized. And on this occasion, a talk on wildlife assumes a great significance. And Dhruv talked so well about wildlife. And second thing, next month, March 3rd, we have World Wildlife Day. So both are nearby. So on both the accounts, this was really an excellent presentation. And Karnataka Science and Technology Academy congratulates Mr. Dhruv for this excellent presentation. And Mr. Dhruv, here Karnataka Science and Technology Academy is an autonomous organization under the Department of Science and Technology. We keep organizing many programs for youngsters right from high school to university level. We will be inviting you to make a presentation in our future programs, and I wish you a great future. I wish all the dignitaries present here. Thank you very much for from KSTA for being with us during this session. And if you, Mr. Dhruv, if you are around in Bangalore on March 3rd, we'll be happy to.
He will be leaving.
Yes, thank you very much. And I must thank Dr. Kushal Das sir for always organizing wonderful programs, and this is one of them. Congratulate BLDE for this particular talk, and I am sure KSTA will be having an MOU with BLDE, and we'll be happy to have many more programs like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramesh sir, for your valuable words. I think I think Dhruv is going to miss the opportunity. Why? Because Dhruv is flying now. March he'll not be able to be there in the.
But I'd love to join from Zoom, sir. I'd love to be a part of all your any program that you'd be invited. I'd love to be a part of it, sir.
Mr. Dhruv, then we'll be organizing a talk by you on March 3rd. You please suggest us the time that.
Yes.
Very good.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
That's so wonderful. I think that now Dr. Mubashir is not there. I think let us see. Dr. Suleiman has given a note, and he has sent me a WhatsApp message also. He said, "I would like to thank this young group for their sensitivity and for choosing a life in harmony with nature. I would also like to thank Professor Kushal Das and everyone who supported this nice organizing and all participants." So this is from Professor Suleiman Dazak, Professor of Biophysics, Istanbul, and UNESCO head of Turkey. I think Dr. Lucian is here. Dr. Lucian? Dr. Lucian?
Yes, I am here.
Please, you ask, you interact.
Okay.
Dr. Lucian from Brazil, Sao Paulo University, Brazil.
Yes, thank you very much, Dhruv. It's amazing, your pictures, your lecture. It is very great to see. Here in Brazil, we have some black panthers. It's not easy to see. They are also endangered species. There are some in Amazon, also some in the savanna spots. And I don't know in India, but one of our big problems here for conservation is the animal farms. So the deforestation is mainly caused by the farmers that they want to expand their farms. So I would like to know your opinion about that, what we should do, because it's difficult to stop them because there's starvation in the world and things like that. And what we should do to educate people to stop the deforestation and have these endangered species increasing each year, especially in Amazon here in our, we can see clearly a decrease in biodiversity. And
yes,
thank
Professor.
you very much for our lecture.
Thank you, Professor Lucian. I think it is a prominent problem in all parts of the world, because I've heard the same in Africa. It happens in India. I mean, now I'm hearing that it happens in Brazil. I think man-animal conflict, especially with these farmers who want land and wildlife encroaching these farms and farms that are close to the rainforests and, that can, or close to the savannas that can, and these farmers have conflict with these animals. I think one of the biggest help would be if it would obviously have to come from the government, where the government tries to relocate these farmers, give them the land that they have in different parts of Brazil where they can still make their living, because eventually you're talking about farmers as living. But on the other hand, what we're doing in India, what we're trying to do in India is educating these farmers, hosting programs with them, with wildlife experts, and, showing them the value of wildlife. So Professor Lucian, I know you talked about like how it's rare to see, melanistic jaguars in Brazil, but it's still possible. And, just showing them the value and involving these farmers into tourist related activities, because even the Amazon, I have, photographer friends who have assignments in the Amazon, and, who go on the boats for days and, in search for jaguars. So, just involving these farmers into the tourist aspect. Like for example, in Kabini, what many of the resorts do is they give these farmers a part-time job in the resort as either a security guard or, to manage some parts of the resort. And that itself acts as incentive because they're getting some income off of the tourism that's happening because of the wildlife. And in turn, you can also educate them, saying that there are these rare species, like, jaguars are rare by themselves, but melanistic jaguars that are around your area, that means that there is possibility for, incredible tourism. And I feel tourism again acts as a chain. When many people care about like Kabini or different forests in India, when many people say, oh, there are leopards in Kabini, let's go to Kabini, then the government and the forest department automatically sees that as an asset, as where you can, get tourists and get some sort of income and use that income to protect these animals. So I think it's all a chain, and I think education and providing incentives of some sort related to tourism or government benefits to them would be the best option to reduce the conflict.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There is one question from Gustavo.
I think Dr. Gustavo, Professor Gustavo is here, and Professor Hamid Mubashiri, just I saw. Professor Mubashiri, are you here? Professor Mubashiri? Yeah. Professor Gustavo, just after the chairperson, you will speak, and very short so that we can conclude in a short time. So Professor Mubashiri, as a chairperson, please, your valuable comment.
Right. I'm sorry that I might not have part of the talk, but later on I will definitely watch the video of the recorded session. I'm sorry for that because I didn't have any.
Yeah, you are in a hospital. You are in a hospital.
You know that the Iranian youth is on the verge of distinction, and there are very few number of them is left in Iran. And the preservation of the world conservation is quite vital. As you know, there is a close communication and relationship between every creature on the globe, and the life of each of them is depend on the others. So the deforestation and everything that changes the habitat of these poor animals somehow shows that how selfish human being is. But at the end of the day, you can see that the consequence of that will come back and return an effect on the human being himself. And this is what's happening. The global warming, for example, it is what is caused by the hand of human being himself. So I think we all have to do something in order to save human race. We have to save the race of all creature on the globe. I heard some message from, I guess he was Indian, and he said that this is a claim that they say that you have to be good to go for a heaven. The heaven is very here. He said it's so bad that we ignore the heaven here, the very, very beautiful, fantastic, unique globe in the universe, and we just don't care to take about it and to take care of it. And still we are looking for another heaven when we die to reach it. And that is wrong. I think we have to not, religiously, there are some beliefs, but in reality, you have to live in the best way here. And to do that, you have to keep it, you have to conserve it, and you have to consider and respect all other creatures. And in terms of the collections, we know that there are in physics, quantum physics, there are a meaning that shows that every creature, every action on the globe, on the world even, on the universe are related to each other. So whatever each part of this network does definitely affects on the others. And that I do definitely wish to watch the video afterward and send my regards to all participants and definitely participate in the follow-up of the talk. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Professor Murgaish. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much, sir.
Wonderful comment.
Thank you, Professor. Hope it came well soon.
Now, Dr. Irina is there. Professor Irina, Dr. Irina. Yeah, Irina Mihalkovich.
Dr. Kushal, you already made me a professor. I'm not a professor yet.
Yeah, not a professor. It doesn't matter.
Every time I'm growing more and more thanks to you. Well, thank you so much, Dhruv. It was amazing and really, really, I don't know, it's like for 1 hour I transferred to some other world of wildlife, and just where wildlife and human, they exist on the same level. Let's say human is not here and wildlife is here. Actually, we reach the level of wildlife to step into the world of it, and it's so beautiful. I especially was amazed by your concept of personalizing the every animal that you shoot. You present it as a separate personality, and by this your audience can relate to it more. And I'm thinking this is an amazing concept, especially for all artists, because all artists are storytellers, right? And we all create narratives from whatever material we find. For me, it may be dance, puppetry, some other art forms. For you, it's through your lens and other ways you interact with the nature. And this storytelling is not only in artists, it's in every person. We actually, storytelling has been part of our folklore. It was the way we were surviving. We were interacting with each other. So in the way, this is groundbreaking, whatever you suggested. And in this regard, I remembered one really sad incident which happened once. There was one snake who got tangled in a net, fisher net, and people saw it, and without thinking, they just killed it immediately with a rock. And my friend, an American citizen, he came and he clicked a picture of a snake and found it on Google Lens, and he found it wasn't even a venomous snake; it was a water snake, and it just, poor soul, it was just tangled inside the net and didn't know how to get out. But people, for some reason, they feel like nature is a danger. We need to protect ourselves from it. And of course, our life, yes, we have survival instinct. We want to survive. If it's our life or life of a Black Panther, probably we'll choose our life, right? But nevertheless, like, we have this higher cognitive function. We have the ability to educate ourselves. So what you're saying, just going to the farmers, going to the local people, educating them, showing them how they can distinguish what is really hazardous, what is not, and how to interact with the wildlife. It can be so just changing. And the entire world needs, I think, two things. One is education, and second is empathy, because that's how we interact with each other. And if we apply empathy to interacting with the nature as well, then I think that all the problems would be solved. It's just we need to stop seeing ourselves as separate entities from the nature. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best. And I really like seeing you, 19-year-old, doing all of this. I can imagine what you're going to be doing when you're 30, 40. And just, yes, we will be closely watching you and, yes, observing how you go ahead with all of this.
Thank you, Irina.
Thank you.
I think that Professor Gustavo, let him my international guest, let him the last from the international guest, then Indian two guests are there. Professor Gustavo, your last word. Your last word.
Yes, congratulations, Dhruv Patil. One observation that truly catch my attention. The Black Panther in one of your photos had a small white spot. Is that a photographic effect, or is it real white hair? Is he going gray? Do panthers go gray? I had the white hair you have. I had the black hair you have right now, Dhruv Patil, when I was young. So I'm wondering if panthers go white also with time.
I mean, that's a very interesting, and I'd love to talk about it, Professor. So, I mean, it's not actually white hair, but so this panther, particularly Saya, we call him Saya, we call him Blackies, right? So Saya was basically, he's the size of a female leopard, but he's a male leopard. Like, sadly, he's small for like other leopards. And Kabini, given that it's only 870 kilometers square, you know, Kabini is too small to host all the leopards and tigers. There's almost 200 tigers in Kabini. And the scars that he has is just one of his scars. He has, I think, he's had around like 7-8 scars throughout his lifetime, and all through fights for territory. Because there are, you know, the other leopard with the eyes that I had shown in my presentation, he's part of the same territory. So it's because this small leopard tries to take fights with the bigger leopards just for the territory that he ends up with so many scars. Like me and my mentor, you know, because we actually consider the panther like our friend or somebody. So we'd be like, what is this guy trying to do? Like, he's going to kill himself one day, trying to take up fights with these big animals. Because, you know, we think of him as a friend, and we keep scolding him. We're going to be like, if the panther is gone, then one of Kabini's jewel is lost, and we need to stop this guy from fighting all the people. But it's Mother Nature, and we don't interact with them in that close. But it's the phenotypical feature of him.
Thank you, Professor Gustavo. Thank you. Wonderful to have you with us, you and all from the Latin American countries, from Brazil, from Bolivia, the Amazon belt. It's so wonderful to discuss on the nature. I think your presence has definitely enriched everybody, and Luciane's presence has enriched the rich heritage of our nation, our countries, and our continent itself. Thank you very much. I think now Dr. Murgaish Patan Shetty, I think 2 Indian guests are there, Dr. Murgaish.
Yes.
And then followed by the certificate.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Good, sir. Now I request the guest of honor, Dr. Prashanth Pikayam, Deputy Conservator of Forest, Vijaypur District, to throw light on this, the virtual guest lecture. Prashanth, sir, are you there?
Good evening to everybody.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Respected dignitaries, respected ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be a part of this function. Actually, the conservation in India, especially with the harmony in living the human population of 135 crore population, in just an area of 327 million hectare. Conservation by involving only the department or the government organization is a dream. Involving the philanthropists, NGOs, and the organization along with the department is an hope. And Dhruv in his presentation, he clearly showed that shoot the animals with the camera, but not with a gun. And many of the historical conservation steps were supported by the NGO organizations like PETA in the cruelty of the animals, and the Godavarman case in the conservation of forest, especially cutting the green trees. And especially in Bijapur, conservation of forest and the wildlife. It's the vision of Shri M.B. Patil sir and the Asha Patil madam, and it is perfectly shouldered by Dhruv, especially his interest, his passion, and his kindness for wildlife and all organisms is really appreciable. I'm sure, like a Dhruva star in the sky, he always shine in the field of wildlife and conservation, and he will do a lot of service to the conservation of wildlife and the animals in Indian scenario. And I thank all the participants and organizers for this great event today. And it's a wonderful session, Dhruji. We enjoyed almost, it's 1.5 hours. We enjoyed your session too. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
very much,
Professor Prashanth, sir. I think one of the great support for us, I think, for both the Koti Vriksha Abhiyan and SPPA from Prashanth sir and Sarina madam.
I'd just like to add one incident. I think, Miss Irina, you were talking about the snake incident, right? Just last week, whether you believe it or not, again, coincidence of Mother Nature, but I think it was Prashanth sir's idea, and Prashanth sir came to me along with Professor Murgaish and said, there are so many snake catchers. So in my backyard in Bijapur, I've seen 3 different species of snakes. And usually rescuers come and they don't have kits. They usually take them in plastic bottles, and that's usually harmful for the snake, and the snakes usually die in the process of relocation. And so many of these people are not even educated on the types of snakes, right? They think non-venomous are venomous, and sometimes the worst mistake is when people think venomous snakes are non-venomous. So there's so many incidents of people being injured or people actually dying by through snake bites, and we thought that's a genuine issue in the entire city and district of Bijapur. So last week with SPPA, along with a person who's kind enough to donate snake rescue kits, we donated cloth bags and snake rescue kits to almost, I think, 40 different snake rescuers across the city. And I think just along the lines as we spoke, I just wanted to add that, and a big support for that was Prashanth sir. So yeah.
And then I would like to add through, because Prashanth sir, from his pocket, he has insured all the snake catchers along with the kit. So this is something, which is something great things are happening in conserving the environment. So now I would like to take an opportunity to invite Sarina Madam, Deputy Conservator of Forest, Vijaypur District Social Forest Division. Sarina Madam, are you there?
Is there? She's not there, I think.
Okay. So now, sir, I think
that almost we have invited from abroad everybody. They're there, but I think they have completed their terms and all. I think one of them are there. Fine. Any one of you, only one question can anyone ask? Anyone other than the guest of honors and chief guest? Anyone have any query? Anyone have any query other than only one question? Let Dhruv take it.
I think no questions, sir.
I think no questions, so I think we'll not wait. I think that it is a time to give a certificate. I request Professor Dr. M. Ramesh, sir. Dr. Ramesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that you have to honor Dhruv Patil along with Professor Mubashiri and Professor Gustavo and all the guests of honor. The certificate will be uploaded. Just give good wishes to them. So let you upload.
Yes, sir. It's my great pleasure and honor to honor Mr. Dhruv Patel for his wonderful presentation. I wish you a great future and look forward to your talk on March 3rd once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dhruv.
Yeah, we'll send you by email and WhatsApp.
Thank you so much, Professor.
I request now, first of all, I convey my sincere thanks to all of you, including the great speaker and all the guests. Many guests have actually joined, and like Dr. Chandrasekhar Biradar, he just sent me a WhatsApp that he has another program, so he had to left, but he was a part of it. And one of my friends from the New York was a UNESCO part from the Albert Einstein Medical College, Professor Dr. Shumanta Goswami was also there for some time, and again he left it. So, but they all wishes and they said it's a marvelous, and some of them they put a comment. I think it's a wonderful program, Dhruv. We are proud of you, and I convey my sincere thanks to Murgaish Patan Shetty for my side, to Murgaish Patan Shetty for excellently he manages the whole show from everything, from coordinations to everywhere. All the guests of abroad and Indian guests, and definitely Asha Patil Madam Ji. Thank you very much, all of you. I request Murgaish Patan Shetty to officially just conclude the session.
Yeah, thank you, Kushal sir. I think you have given me a great responsibility of moderating this entire event for the day. Now, I would like to take pleasure in concluding this entire session First of all, I'll try to extend my heartfelt thanks to today's young speaker, right? Uniting camera and conservation. Dhruv M. Patil for delivering a wonderful lecture and enlightening most of the people regarding the wildlife, conservation, and even photography. I think by looking at him only, I have started, photographing using my small mobile. I think he is one influencer for me also. Thank you very much, Dhruv, for joining us and delivering a lecture on this. And I would like to take this, opportunity to thank Professor Hamid Mubashiri sir, being one of the chairperson on this for this session. Thank you, Professor Mubashiri sir. Though he was, unable to connect because he is still in his hospital. So I extend my heartfelt thanks. Busy schedule also, he is connected with us. And I'd like to thank the guest who is not there, Professor Irina Mihalkovich, UNESCO Chair Life Science, and even one more, the biggest chief guest, A.M. Ramesh sir, Karnataka KSTA. Big thanks to you, sir, for joining us and making your time available for this today's gathering. And here I'd like to thank even Professor Suleiman Dazdag, UNESCO UNITWIN Turkey, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Professor Gustavo, sir, from Bolivia, and one more guest of honor, Dr. Lucinia, and from Paulo State University, Brazil, and Irina is one more person who is present here. I think very good takeaway for Irina from this guest lecture. And the forest officers of Vijaypur district, India, like Dr. Prashanth Pikayam and Serena Madam, a big support for SPP and Koti Vriksha Abhiyana. I think a big thanks to both of them, that unconditional support is being extended by them for these kind of work. Sir, we extend heartfelt thanks to both Prashanth sir and Serena Madam. And biggest thanks to the mentor of Dhruv, the true mentor of Dhruv, Asha Patil Madam. I think all the way she is behind Dhruv, and she is a good, big Dronacharya for Dhruv. Thank you very much, Madam, for attending this event. And Kishan, one more executive member, SPPA. Thank you very much for attending, being present over last 2 hours of time. He is there with us. And even I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Administrative Officer Dr. Avi Kulkarni sir, who was there a part of this event, and Kaushik Banerjee, Administrative Officer of BM Patil Public School, and other people. There are 2 people who, because of this entire show, is running without any hurdle. I think there is one person behind this, technocrats, like one is Anand Patil and Anup Kumar. Yes. These are 2 people who are backbone of this event. I think they are the people who have made, flawless. The event was flowing very, very, very smoothly without any hurdles. Thank you. I extend a heartfelt thanks to Mr. Anand Patil and Anup Kumar. And there are so many, I think there were number were very big. I think I'll try to extend my heartfelt thanks to one and all who will be a part directly and indirectly for this event. Thank you very much all for joining us. That's all for the day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, officially it's over.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kushaldas.
Thank you, everybody. All the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Luciana. Thank you, everyone here. We are honored of your presence here. Thank you very much. Thanks to Dhruv, the greatest speaker of today. Thank you very much. We are closing now and we are stopping. We will be sharing the YouTube link to all of you. So yes. Thank you very much, which you can keep with you and you can share with your colleagues.